A Walmart-related recession indicator is flashing red. It's predicted the last four major U.S. downturns in the stock market, and once again, we have some concerns over it, and we'll talk about that today. One economic indicator suggests pain is coming for the U.S. It's called the Walmart Recession Signal. And so it's a measure of Walmart's stock price relative to other luxury brands, looks at their stocks and how it's doing compared to those. A sharp increase in the WRS has preceded the last four U.S. recessions. The guy who's talking about this is Jim Paulsen. He says the indicator linked to Walmart is flashing a possible recession warning. And Jim Paulsen's a longtime economist and a former chief investment strategist of the Leuthold Group. And so essentially, the higher this gauge goes, the higher it's measuring up to other luxury stocks, the more risk there is of a sharp economic downturn. So it's the highest it's been since the global financial crisis 2 decades ago, back in 2008. Recession signal is that as the economy slows, and it makes sense, more shoppers shift away from high-end things to the basics, budget retailers like Walmart and maybe Dollar General, things like that. But again, it looks at Walmart specifically. So it could hint to a downturn or a significant economic slowdowns on the way, is what Paulsen is saying, based on his indicator. Walmart has long served as a marker for U.S. consumer health, and last year, Walmart stock has gone up 40% for 2025. So that's a huge increase. Hey, I didn't really think about that because it would have been a good stock to jump into. It's gotten a boost from consumers looking to save money as inflation worries have mounted. So Walmart is just killing it. They are doing all kinds of business. Every time we go to Walmart, we have seen the parking lots flooded with cars, tons of people in there. And so Paulsen noted that the Walmart recession signal has seen a sharp increase. So we've already said that, having it here twice. So far this year, it's climbed about 28 basis points. So likely due to economic anxiety surrounding the Iran war. So that's another concern with the fuel prices going crazy. I almost did an article on that today. Maybe I'll do that for tomorrow, but the fuel prices are at the highest it's been pretty much decades. It's been really bad. And a lot of it is because most of the crude oil is just sitting in ships stuck in the Strait of Hormuz. So hopefully they'll get this taken care of here soon to put an end to it. We don't need to drag this out. And that's going to affect a lot of commerce because, of course, fuel-related costs for transportation and shipping. The WRS is increasingly advising caution about the U.S. economy. My guess is the economy avoids a recession this year, but I'm becoming more convinced that a significant U.S. economic slowdown is unfolding. What are your thoughts on that? What are you seeing with your own personal finances, and what do you see coming in the market? What are some concerns you have? I'd be interested to hear that in the comments. Paulsen highlighted several worries he had about the U.S. economy given the WRS's recent rise. Pain among lower and middle income consumers. That's where it really hits the hardest. Is one of the factors involved is a lot of people that have money. They're starting to shop at the budget-friendly stores, namely Walmart, because even they realize, there's no sense in spending extra for the basics or things that we have to have when we could just go to Walmart. But it really hits the lower and middle income consumers the most. A lot of middle income has a lot of debt, they're over leveraged, they live beyond their means, they don't say no to things a lot of times, and so they're making decent money, but they are living in a way that they just can't sustain it. So they're really in danger of spending too much. So they shop at Walmart because it's a little bit cheaper. Of course, lower income, it really hits them hard, and so that's they're shopping at the lowest cost possible. Paulsen said stress throughout the economy is growing from the bottom part of the income distribution, and even if private financial health is sustained, the economy could still suffer a period of notably subpar real growth. So even if we don't have recession, our economy's not going to grow, is what he's saying. And so that's bad too, because a lot of investment in industry and into different companies is going to take a hit as well. So private credit problems is another reason that the WRS has historically been linked to the value of private credit assets. Concerns about the health of the private credit sector have also been rising in recent months as asset managers face a wave of withdrawal requests. So I remember years ago when, not too smart of us, but we had a what do they call it? We had a loan against our house. My brain is drawing a blank, but home equity loan. So we had a home equity loan years ago. I'll never do that again. It's terrifying to think if you have something that's tied to your house is the way you're paying for things. So I remember back at the time, once we had it paid off, the bank went ahead and reduced the amount of available credit that we could use, which didn't make any sense because our home value had gone up. We didn't have any debt with them with that particular mortgage. And so they were reducing the amount of available credit. And they made up all these excuses. I talked to my banker and he basically said a lot of banks are pulling back on available credit because they're afraid of defaults. So that was back, I guess it was back around 2009, 2010. And years later, I was talking with another banker that they had reduced it again. We still had it open, we never used it. And so I reached out and and they made up some excuse, but they didn't want to admit that it was to pull back available credit. So there, that is another thing that there's a lot of withdrawal requests. There's a lot of people deciding not to live on credit. And I apologize for my voice. The pollen is killing me. Also, job market pain. The WRS has also been historically linked with the unemployment rate, Paulsen said, citing his analysis of the recession signal and the jobless rate since 1990. We've talked about that here on the channel where the hawk is back. We talk about that on this channel where a lot of companies are laying off, a lot of companies are replacing a lot of tasks with AI and trying to save money that way and doing things faster. So during the late 1990s, the WRS rose substantially long before the unemployment rate finally surged, adding that the recent rise in WRS may not yet be reflected in unemployment figures. There's a lot of companies, that's another follow-up that I'll do here. There's a lot of other companies that are laying off people. The Warren signal has gone up where companies have to report within a certain amount of days ahead of time for a substantial layoff, so that has gone up. Paulsen pointed to certain vulnerabilities such as the recent slowdowns in hiring, housing activity, and consumer spending. My guess is the WRS is pointing to a significant weakening in real economic activity, which could become more obvious during the next several months. Though he speculated that if the Iran war were to see a quick resolution, the U.S. could avoid a recession this year. I think that's a big key right now. There are a lot of other factors, but the Iran war, I don't think anyone had on their agenda or their bingo list for this year as to something happening. So that has really has the markets spooked. Fuel prices have surged, so that's going to affect a lot of things down the line. If you remember the last time this happened, when gas prices spiked, costs of everything went up because it's just transportation costs and companies will pass that on. Recession calls have grown louder the longer this war has dragged on. Goldman Sachs and BCA research among those on Wall Street who have nudged their 12-month recession probabilities higher, largely due to the knock-on effects of the recent oil spike. So again, as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Please let me know if you've heard other things that kind of go along with this or other stories that you may have seen. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you like this type of content, I'd love to keep making it, and I enjoy it. And again, rough around the edges, but it can only get better from here. So we'll keep plugging away. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't want to wait for my next video, watch this one right up here in the corner, and I'll see you in the next one.